It is Marine Conservation Happy Hour. I'm DrScarlettSmash, and I'm totally with sassy Dr. Kraken over here. He's like, hello, hurry up, let's go. I'm ready. I'm on the 10th recording of episodes, and I'm ready to go and talk about one of our favorite topics, Dr. Kraken. We're going to talk about whale watching.
Yeah.
We just love talking about whale watching. We have a guest here, and I'll introduce him. But before we do that, Dr. Kraken, what are you drinking?
Well, I've been working through my Grunfeld meads, and I am now on a completely different one. This is Psychopomp Sour Cherry Mead. It's has a really cool raven on the label. It looks very sort of Edgar Allan Poe. And
is it purple? Is it black? What kind of raven is it?
Well, ravens are black, dude.
No, I mean, I know that, but I mean, like, Dr. Kraken, like, oh my God, I'm practically purple. I can't even. But I mean, like, seriously, it's a normal, boring black raven.
It's a black raven on a sort of a blood red background.
Okay, all right, there we go. See, I was waiting for that.
It looks very.
I was waiting for some animation.
It looks very gothic.
Some gothic.
It's a sour cherry mead, so I'm not really a great fan of sours, but it had a cool label. And because it's a little bit tart, I'm not drinking it quite as quickly as I was drinking the ginger meads, which go down way too fast. Yeah, they get drunk really, really quickly. I need to pay.
No. Especially when you're not eating anything. Like, you got to eat something. Okay. As I'm waving this wand, this is a very
why you waving a wand at me, Harry Potter?
Okay, because I know, right? Well, this is actually not a wand for those who are not watching, but that are listening. This is a lighter. You know those wand lighters, right? They're the multi-purpose BIC lighters. Mm-hmm. You just have that. It looks like almost like a gun, and you kind of hit that switch, and it fires up, and it's perfect. I love these things. Okay. The reason why I'm talking about this is because I really want to emphasize we need something more sustainable than this. Okay. So
So much plastic.
So much plastic. Okay. I actually tried to refill this. I tried so hard to be a conservationist and refill this. Oh my God. It was not easy. And then I found someone, I mean, I just thought maybe it would be something like, those really old lighters that, your grandmother had, that she would just refill the fuel in there. And it was like a silver lighter. And she was like, here you go, with her cigarette smoke. Here you go, honey. You know what I mean? But no, this is actually really difficult. This is not easy to replace or refill. There is one guy on YouTube that can actually take you through the steps, which is easier than most. But I'm telling you, it's like you have to be an engineer for this, and I'm really sad about it. So BIC and all these other people out there, or someone that knows how to do this better. Okay, our guest knows something.
Do you know what I use to light fires? It's this amazing innovation. It's like sustainable. It's got like wood, and then there's like little red things on the end, and you strike them, and they come onto fire.
Go on, you sassy thing. Oh my God. Okay, listen. I don't know where those things are. Okay, all right. So I'm like super excited. Dr. Kraken.
Jans has a thing.
Okay, that's our guest. And hold on, give me 1 second because I gotta let everyone know what I'm toasty on. I am toasty on Kendall Jackson red wine. I went from espressos. Yeah, that's correct. I went from espressos to wine. Alcohol boosts my personality up a little bit more, just a few notches.
I think they can tell, dear. I think they can tell.
Oh, just a little few notches. Everyone's like, oh, I'm such a depressed or a sad drunk. And I'm like, no way, man. I'll be partying up your party all night long. That's right. So I'm doing Cabernet Sauvignon. And today we will be talking about whale watching because we have a whale watching scientist here. We have Jens Currie. He is our chief scientist for the Pacific Whale Foundation. We talked about the Pacific Whale Foundation in our last episode, but Jens, you were showing me a lighter that I can refill. Please fill me in and say hello to everyone. And thank you so much for being on the show and being one of our last scientists, because you have to be fantastic to handle
I
this.
think Smash is going to just crash after this episode because she is just fueled by espresso and alcohol.
Yeah, I think she's excited about my lighter as well that I have over here. So might be getting extra compliments, but enjoying some.
Do it. Tell me what it is.
Okay, so this is a USB lighter, so it uses a spark as opposed to an actual flame. And to refill it, you plug it into the wall like you would your phone, and then charge it up.
Cool. Oh my god! Where do we find this? What's the brand name? I'm so excited.
Like anything nowadays, you find it on Amazon.
Oh gosh. Well, if you're buying on Amazon, please make sure you are part of the Smile Amazon and you're donating some money to a charity. Okay, next, continue on.
Yeah, so I mean, that's all I really have to say about this lighter.
What are you drinking?
What am I drinking? Yeah, so Thunder Mountain Kona coffee, 8 a.m. here in Hawaii.
Oh,
so
yeah, Kona coffee.
Hawaii, yes.
Enjoying the morning brew.
Absolutely.
Because
okay.
he's at dawn there. And he's just crawled out of bed.
Oh gosh, he looks so refreshed and like perfect, while we look dry. And we've been like working since 11. No, I've been working since 7 a.m., but totally on another project. We've been recording since 11
That's
o'clock.
true. We were talking about dolphins going extinct at like 7 a.m. this morning.
I know. Oh my God. Talk about dread. Okay. Well, anyway, we're going to talk about some really cool topics, and we're going to talk about a few of your published papers. One is the impact of vessels on humpback whale behavior, the benefits of added whale watching guidelines. Okay, that's it, Yen. Tell us everything about it. Guidelines, what you did, what your paper is about. Take it away. Back to the show right after this.
Hello, everyone. If you're a listener to the Marine Conservation Happy Hour, you might be wondering, how do these strange kids keep managing to record every single week? Well, we need support from Patreon supporters. Why not tune into patreon.com/marine conservation and buy us a drink? You can start from giving us a wee toast for just $1 to, buying us a whole round of drinks. And each level has different types of benefits, going from a shout out on the show to even having a guest co-host slot on one of the episodes. Yes, absolutely. If you go big time, you can actually join us on the show and be a co-host. You can suggest possible topics that we could talk about. You can get involved with special live happy hours with just the crew. So go to patreon.com/marine conservation and show us the money.
Now back to Jens, our guest.
Got it. Yeah. So this was, work that I started 8 years ago. It was one of the first projects I did when we moved to Hawaii. First step was answering the question of what is the recommended speed for vessels to travel, and that's a different paper, but that's what started this work. And so that's when you think about transiting areas with high number of vessels and high number of whales. And we're not talking about large vessels; these are small vessels. So what can we say about speed? And what we came up with there is 13 knots or less is going to be your safest travel speed. And that really does align up with most of the literature on whale watching speed.
We're talking about slow, right, Dr. Kraken? When people talk about we're talking about like you can walk next to the boat.
Well, there was
if you were Jesus walking on water.
Well, there was this famous paper by David Lace who looked at a lot of ship strike stuff. And 13 knots seems to be like the magic number. I mean, maybe even less than 10 knots just to be super safe. But that really does seem to be like, well, when you see speed signs on the road, when they say 20 miles per hour, that's the speed they know that if a kid is hit, they're much more likely to survive. If you go to 30 or 40 miles an hour, still going to hurt, but they may survive and recover. So that seems to be sort of the magic number with whales.
Yeah, that's right. We should look at all whales as our kids.
Great way to do it. Yeah. So, that work then spiraled into what about whale watching? What's the best way you can approach it and be present with a whale that's as sustainable as possible, but you also get that experience you get from a whale watch, which is, education around the whales, the behaviors you're seeing, and just experience and seeing whales in real life.
There's so many whale watching tours that do not educate the people while they're on the boat.
Yeah, and
I think that is just a sad situation.
honestly, it should be a requirement. If you want a whale watch, you have to have an education component, in my opinion. So
Absolutely.
it's a long-term goal, maybe.
Ooh, Dr. Kraken, you got Dr. Kraken on a rail.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it really does add to the whole experience if you have the sort of narration rather than just, oh, here's a whale, blah, 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 but actually explain what it is that they're doing. And as someone who has been a whale watching tour guide, even if you don't see a whale, if you have a really good narration, people feel they have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. So whales are only one part of it. It's the whole experience.
People want to be entertained in all ways, right? This is the visual is the whale and what they're doing, but everyone wants a narrative, right? Exactly. So this is exactly what all whale watcher tourism should do. And you know what, Jens, you actually promote and try to do a lot of ethical guidelines with tourism companies. So go ahead and get into all that too.
Yeah, so that was the main focus of this study, was whale watching guidelines. And so Pacific Whale Foundation, which operates Pac Whale Eco Adventure Cruises, which is a whale watching and snorkel tour company here in Hawaii, does whale watching tours. And so we enlisted them to help us look at behaviors of whales before, during, and after a whale watch. And so we set up a station on land and we observed whales for 3 years. And, over that time period, we gathered data on over 400 vessel approaches, and I believe the number is around 600 whales. So really rich data set with lots of before, during, and after behaviors. And then what we can do with that is, get into some statistics and modeling and see how is that behavior changing. And if you look at it just from whale watching vessels, regardless of how they approach in Hawaii, we see changes in swim speed, respiration rate, how straight a line they're traveling, and dive times. So that's differences in the before and the during and the after phases. And so that's the first big finding that we could probably talk about.
Yeah, I think we should put a caveat in about the whole sort of swimming and snorkeling with whales and dolphins. There's a few places where it's allowed, but there's several places where it happens where they don't really monitor. They just sort of throw people in with whales. At Sri Lanka, there's a big problem with this. They zoom up to the whales and throw people in the water. It's not done very sustainably.
It's done a lot of places.
Yeah,
honestly.
a lot of locations.
Even in Panama, I saw it wasn't even something that was featured in Bocas del Toro, but it was so like the boat operators, they really didn't know what was going on. So we're not going to make them out to be a bad guy, but they were like, sure, jump it off the boat if you want to and swim in the dolphins. And there were literally people jumping off of the boat and swimming the dolphins. And you could obviously see that dolphins were running away. We should probably mention that when we say whale watching, we're talking about all cetaceans. We're talking about whales and dolphins and porpoises. So that is something that we forgot to mention, that when you're talking about whale watching, you're also talking about dolphin watching. Yeah, many, many, many species.
But in terms of the sort of swimming with whales, just sort of be careful that it's, very carefully monitored, done properly, blah, blah, blah.
That would be a really big hit if a by mistake hit with a tail. Oh my Lord. Talk about a concussion right there. Anyways, Jens, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, on that note, what we're seeing here in Hawaii, just from doing research for 8 years out here, is an increase in those stand-up paddle boarders and kayakers coming out and getting close. So we're fortunate enough that you can drive down the highway here, look to the left or the right, depending on the direction, and see humpback whales breaching and swimming. So it's
Jens, did you hear about the article of that lobster fisherman that was swallowed by a whale?
Yeah, I heard about that, and I certainly got a lot of questions from friends of, is this real? What's going on?
Heck, and yes, this is real. This can happen. But it's obvious that you were way too close. Hello. I mean, like, even a scientist, all of us that have research and we are marine mammal science experts, we're not going to be like, yeah, let me go paddle my boat really close to these marine mammals that are eating right now. Yeah, that.
Yeah. It's like any wildlife. Treat it with respect, dude, because humpback whales are really big, and their fins, they have these like callosities along the leading edge, which are basically concrete. So if they swipe at you, that is going to smash up your paddleboard, your surfboard, your kayak. If it
Yeah, and
hits
they
you,
don't
which
have
has
insurance, so you're
happened.
not going to get anything from it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, some people have been hit by humpback whales. If you're swimming with humpback whale mothers with calves, they're going to be antsy,
Rude. Don't
and people
even.
have been injured, broken legs, and so on. So yeah, it's just be aware, just be aware.
Yeah, and that also speaking from the whale side, a point of view, if you will, human safety, of course, first and foremost. But as far as Hawaii is concerned, we do have a 100-yard approach limit here. You can't go beyond that, so that applies to those kayaks and paddle boarders as well. And so you have that potential.
Amen. I'm so glad you finally mentioned that, because for some reason, people that are on boards don't, or kayaks, think that they can get closer than a boat. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm sorry. You're still an ocean vessel of any sort. So
You're still causing
yeah, and
disturbance.
rude. Get back. And here's another thing: when you are on a whale watching tour, if you see your boat operator getting too close, be like, hey, back up, leave that whale alone. And there you go, you're an activist.
Yeah, we're fortunate here in Hawaii. There's a lot of self-regulation as well among the tour operators, so they won't shy away from somebody going too close, and you'll hear every now and then over the radio.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about a nice sort of established whale watching industry, where they will go, hey, like Brian, way too close. Give him grief. Like
Love
call him
it.
up on the radio. We used to see that in Scotland all the time. Like a couple of operators were they were like the what's it called? The neighborhood watch.
Oh, I
Like
am the neighborhood watch.
Whale watching. Yeah, it's like, dude, yeah, Brian is getting close to those whales again. Like, give him grief. And you get a bad reputation. You get the other whale watching operators when they go with Brian. He really disturbs those whales. And yeah, I mean, and the public love whales, so they basically want to be on a trip that doesn't hurt or injure
And
whales.
whales
So,
fight climate change, right, Dr. Kraken? Like we've mentioned in our last
as we heard in
episode.
the previous episode,
So important. They're so
yes, whale
valuable.
poop fights climate
Yeah.
change.
All right, Jens, thank you so much for joining us and talking to us about one of our favorite subjects. As you see, we can go on and on and on about this, but it's the best pub subject with Dr. Kraken and I as friends. So thanks so much for joining us. Dr. Kraken, thank you so much. Go ahead and get another drink, Dr. Kraken, because we have so many more to go. And for everyone that's listening, thank you so much for tuning in, and happy conservation.